Well, hello there, motherfuckers. And as a wise man in my comment section once said, my front porch is more over than Sami Zayn. Well, pretty good Raw tonight. I gotta say, not exactly what I would want the new era of Raw to be, but a decent show nonetheless. And we had some pretty good matches. I'm not really sure how I feel about Finn Balor. You guys know I'm not like a crazy fan of this guy. All 190 pounds of him, and I know it's going to draw comparisons to me liking Daniel Bryan, but it goes without saying. Um, I don't think Finn Balor is strong enough at this point in the game to be in the main event of SummerSlam. And, I know this is going to be a hard pill for a lot of you Reigns haters and, Finn Balor and indie fan and the smarks out there. It's going to be a hard pill for you guys to swallow. But let's be perfectly honest. He's a good wrestler. He's exciting to watch. But to say that he's cut out to main event SummerSlam, the second biggest event of the year, yeah, I just don't see that out of him. I mean, I don't know. When I think about a main event like Seth Rollins and Finn Balor, I don't consider that to be A-list. And that's not to sound mean or to, just kind of be anti-smart and just put, the YWC down. I mean, I don't have a problem putting the YWC down. You guys know that firsthand. But I'm not going to sit here and tell everybody I'm going to get behind this idea because I just don't think that it's a good idea. I don't think that Finn Balor could really withstand being in the main event. This is not going to draw in any new fans. If you think that this is going to raise ratings, it's certainly not. Was it an improvement when it came to the level of wrestling tonight? Yes. But let's forget that quality wrestling matches are not what's bringing the ratings down. It's the excitement. It's the intrigue. It's not there anymore. So we started off with Mick Foley and Stephanie in the ring. And, of course, how do we start off the show? Stephanie buries Roman, calls him a loser. And now we're going to get a new title. So pretty much, let's take it from WWE for now on. Every single time that they say that they're not going to do something, let's just go ahead and say that they are going to end up doing it if they deny it at first, because they're always going to do it. Very predictable that they were going to have a title. So I guess I was wrong about the inter-promotional match, but I did say they were going to sooner or later have a title. And they're going to have it. So, okay, so what are they going to call this title? So, I thought that maybe now, since they went back to referring to the belt maybe as the WWE title, but sometimes they still refer to it as the World Heavyweight title. So it would be silly once again to have a WWE title and a World Heavyweight title, because those names were interchangeable to begin with. What's the WWE title? It is the World title. So what is the new title that they're going to have on Raw? I don't even want to say it. I don't want to say it, but I have to say it because if you didn't see Raw, and this is the only way that you follow, WWE through my videos, I'm going to have to just come out and say it. They're going to call it the Universal title. Yes, I know. That just sounds so fucking horrible, and it's cringeworthy. Universal title. And I'm going to, I can kind of see it now. Somebody in, like, the creative meeting was like, oh, well, the fans were called the Universe. So why don't we just go ahead and call the title the Universal title? And isn't the universe bigger than the world? So once again, Raw is better than SmackDown almost by default. So we're going to have two Fatal 4-Way matches. And for some reason, Seth Rollins is the #1 contender already, so he doesn't need to qualify. But there's going to be two Fatal 4-Ways. The winner of those Fatal 4-Ways was going to go on to to have a match tonight against each other, and then they were going to face Seth Rollins. But I guess it's the whole point of Seth Rollins being the heel, that he doesn't have to qualify and Roman Reigns got blamed for not winning the belt for Raw, but Rollins got off scot-free. I just am not crazy about Stephanie going out there and burying Reigns the way she did. Anyway, we have our first match, and it was great. Balor defeated Cesaro, Owens, and Rusev, and I'm not big on Balor, but it was a good match. It was fucking great. Then you had Nia Jax defeating some jobber girl. This is what I expected from Nia Jax in NXT. Nia Jax looks like a monster, and every single time I saw her on pay-per-view, she lost every single time. Bayley beat her, Asuka beat her. She should have been champion. She was dominant. She looks like a star, just like Awesome Kong. She's just this big, powerful girl, and she deserves to be in a better spot on the roster. And hopefully, I kind of like this going back to squash matches. We haven't seen this in a long time, because a lot of the ham and eggers, guys that look like ham and eggers, like Sami Zayn, are now top stars. Okay. Or in the upper mid card at the very least. Roman Reigns defeated Chris Jericho, Sami Zayn, and Sheamus. And Sheamus looked, like he was ready to go again. He looked like he had a new fire in him, and this was another great match. And you look at Roman Reigns in a match like this, and it is just so hard to wrap your head around the fact that fans say that the guy hasn't improved in the ring. If you're still saying that Roman Reigns is bad in the ring, just seriously, get the fuck away from me. This guy, he's really taken every effort to improve, and he has. I mean, he's doing a bang-up job in the ring. He's added a lot of new moves. And not only that, but just look at the way Reigns moves around the ring. And, how he goes from spot to spot. And, he goes from one section to the match to the other. The thing is, and plus, Reigns has a presence when he's in the ring, without a doubt. See, there's a reason why when Reigns was out there, here, I'll get to that in a second. So you have another good match. Then you had the New Day coming out. They're celebrating 337 days as champions. Like I said, I can't even believe that Paul London and Brian Kendrick held that record for so long. It's like a team I even forgot about, basically. They call out some guy, and his name is fucking Sonny Boy. And they're doing this joke that went on way too long. Like, I didn't even understand it. Like, they couldn't believe that the guy's name was Sonny Boy, because Biggie had just said Sonny Boy before, and they were asking him, so when you the name on your bills is Sonny Boy, when you go to a restaurant, you sign your name, and it's Sonny Boy. And then Gallows and Anderson came out and just beat them up. And then they started bothering Sonny Boy at ringside, and I was just like, the fuck is this shit? That was really fucking retarded. And I really didn't get this whole joke, and it really shows with New Day. They've run out of ideas, and they're just like, they come off as fucking retarded. It's not even funny. It's not entertaining. It's just stupid already. Like, if there were going to be one team that they were going to split up, this should have been it right here. These guys have held the belts for way too fucking long. And not only that, they've been together for way too long. They were good as heels, and now you just gotta fucking end it, because this segment just about proves it right there. This was fucking terrible. Up next, you had Neville defeating Mr. Irrelevant, which is Curtis Axel. So they're doing Mr. Irrelevant because, like, that's what they call the, like, the guys who get picked last in, like, the NFL draft. I guess. I don't know. It's really weird. Like, this is the son of Mr. Perfect. Like, a guy that's, like, referred to as a big-time legend. That his father's, basically revered as a big-time legend is what I mean to say. Yeah, Curtis Axel is not a legend. Far from it. And they put this guy in a match with Triple H back in 2013, if you guys remember, when he was the next Paul Heyman guy. And man, how the mighty have fallen. So you could have heard a pin drop in there. So, and here's like Neville, this like super athletic guy, like an indie darling. You know, this is Pac, man. This is Pac from New Japan. This is Pac from Ring of Honor. And you see how Roman Reigns gets a bigger reaction, even though like it might mostly be boos and sometimes like a mixed reaction. But you notice he gets a reaction. Even Eva Marie gets a better reaction than Neville. Neville's not even getting boos or cheers. People just pop for the finish, and it's a light pop. You know, besides giving this guy facial hair, this guy needs a character. You know, when they had like The Miz trying to coach Neville at first, they should have capitalized on that. They should have had him, like, you know, work with him. It could have been an interesting storyline, but of course they abandoned it. Because every time they start, like, hinting at or getting close to something, like, revolutionary, they always stray away from it. Scared to take a chance. Then you had Sasha Banks defeating Charlotte. And I didn't expect, like, Sasha to win the belt here. And this was another fucking amazing match. I mean, you know, this was like superior to the pay-per-view as far as match quality. It was almost like, why did they have a pay-per-view? This was pretty much a pay-per-view. The only thing is just all these commercials on the fucking show. It's just like, and it was a little bit better for me because with the DVR, but still just the cuts in the match. You know, I'm sitting there, I'm like excited watching the match, and then it goes to commercial. You know, during the Attitude Era, you would never see commercial breaks during matches. It was basically unheard of. And I just fucking hate him here. But this was just an example of, like, this is two great women's wrestlers putting on a fantastic fucking show here. And what a great match it was. Then you had Braun Strowman defeating a jobber. And, you know, they've given Braun Strowman a new haircut. And, you know, this is how this guy should have been the moment he walked in the door of WWE. Straight out dominant. This guy is fucking massive. He's scary. He's huge. He's so huge, he's scary. He's more imposing than the Big Show when you think about it. He is, like, fucking muscular and so fucking tall. I mean, and, you know, in the match, he looked pretty decent for a big man. The reverse choke slam, just, you know, I hope that they do something with Strowman. This guy is, like, definitely a spectacle. That's kind of what's missing from wrestling. And, you know, since this guy could work way better than the Big Show, I say go for it with Strowman. Do something with him. That, especially that they broke up the Wyatts. Do something with the guy. And then you had Enzo and Cass defeating the Shining Stars. Goldust and R-Truth run in. They're playing Pokemon Go. It distracted the Shining Stars. Now Enzo and Cass, you know, picked up the win. Here's the thing. It's like the Shining Stars, like, this is their second appearance and they've already lost. And what are they going to have? A feud with Goldust and R-Truth now? Or are they going to have a feud with Enzo and Cass? I mean, like, no. Don't do that to Enzo and Cass. But still, this Golden Truth thing, it's like, Goldust and Booker T were so funny. And these guys, they're just not. The comedy was falling flat tonight. It really was. You know, Goldust and Cody Rhodes were a great team. And they had something going there. And they could have led to a great feud. And now Goldust is stuck doing this bullshit. I mean, God. Then we had the main event, and it was Finn Balor defeating Roman Reigns. And I kind of had a feeling that they might do this. And this is like as far as you could go with catering to the internet fans. I mean, okay, great. You know, Reigns is getting booed. You know, you want to do something special. You want to, you know, give this guy Balor, this indie darling, this, you know, the cream of the crop of NXT, or, you know, cream of the crop of NXT, you know, quote unquote. And he defeats Reigns, you know, like in a hard fought match. It was a great match, but building SummerSlam around this guy, that's going to be a real challenge. I mean, I just don't see this. You know, you think of some of the people who main evented SummerSlam: Stone Cold, The Undertaker, The Rock, Triple H, and then you think, you know, John Cena, Batista, and then Finn Balor. I mean, and I know people are going to challenge me. Oh, Daniel Bryan wasn't that much heavier than Finn Balor. Yeah, but there's a big difference. And also, like, why wasn't Balor, like, in his debut? He should have came out wearing the fucking paint. I mean, I don't know, guys. Am I crazy? But he should always be the demon. I mean, he looks so fucking plain. That's the thing. He's beating a guy like Reigns. This guy who's so much bigger than him. And has so much of a more imposing presence than him. He looks like a star. And he's beating Reigns. It doesn't look right to me. It just doesn't. And I know people are going to have a real problem with that. The Reigns haters are not going to understand where I'm coming from. Everybody else probably will understand where I'm coming from. You know, those who, like, you know, watch the Attitude Era and like what you're used to in wrestling, and I'm not used to seeing this. I mean, this really is like, yeah, this is a new era. I know what they're trying to do. Like, they wanted to show, like, now we're changing. It's not going to be the big man winning, but it hasn't been the big man for a while. I mean, Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, you know, none of these guys are, you know, big men by any stretch of the imagination. So, you know, it kind of goes without saying that it's going to be a real challenge for them to get... Basically, forget about a real challenge. They're not going to get any new viewers, okay? Finn Balor is not going to, you know, draw people into the network, draw people into the show unless they're already there. You know, okay, NXT, you know, people watch the show every week, and internet fans, they're going to be happy. You know, oh, Finn Balor, you know, beat Roman Reigns in this great match, and it was a great match without a doubt. But, you know, it's just like, people are going to take a look at Balor, and they're not going to fall in love with Balor the same way they fell in love with Hogan or The Undertaker. And, oh, why are you comparing those guys? Because the guy's main eventing SummerSlam for the Universal title. Oh, my God, guys. That is such a poor name. Like, who the fuck approved that name? I mean, honestly, I mean, that is like a name that, like a fucking 10-year-old would come up with in their, like, action figure fed, for fuck's sake. I mean, like, what a lame fucking name. Like, how do you even go about thinking that's acceptable? Like, when I heard Mick Foley say that, I can't say I was surprised. I'm really not. Like, I'm not shocked, like, by something like that. But, I mean, it just sounded bad. And I was like, oh, God. Like, but I'm not surprised anymore. To say that I'm going to sit here and be surprised by anything WWE does anymore, that's why I'm not shocked about Finn Balor going over Roman Reigns. You're probably like, oh my God. I'm like, okay, you know, that escalated quickly, you know, but I'm not going to go ahead and say that it was shocking to me. Kind of expected it, you know, the way, you know, they brought Balor in. I thought, you know, well, yeah, they're going to have him have, like, you know, he's almost there, and then kind of cut him off against Reigns. But I was like, all right, it's a new era. They need to really push the draft. But they're also forgetting that this is not going to bring any new viewers. And they don't really want that. They want their core audience. You know, they're happy where they are. And that's what WWE wants to do. What a fucking poor attitude, but yeah. Anyway, I enjoyed this Raw. To say I didn't enjoy it, I disagree with a couple of things here. You know, a couple little things were lame here and there, but for the most part, these were some great matches. And I enjoyed the in-ring action. And, you know, I like the new stage, you know, the new theme song. And doesn't kind of, like, the new theme song kind of remind you of, like, the Nickelback, you know, Burn It to the Ground or whatever it was called, like, in the beginning, but it just sounds like it's, like, up-tempo, but much better theme song than Tonight Is the Night. So I kind of liked that they tried to, like, you know, re-envision the show, try to reinvent it as much as possible. Of course, they could have done more, and I could come up with suggestions later on if you'd want to hear them in, like, in a future video where they could have really reinvented this further. Tried to make it a little bit edgier. Try to make it feel like a bit like of, you know, still being new, but still feeling like old school at the same time to satisfy everybody and probably bring in new fans. But I'll think of, you know, more stuff for future videos. Anyway, guys, I like this Raw. It was a good episode of Raw. Not excellent, but it was good. And man, they're gonna have a tall order ahead of them with Finn Balor. I'm gonna tell you, you know, this is probably not gonna work out the way they envision it. But you know, the Brooklyn crowd is probably gonna be happy by this. You know, because like they're gonna have an NXT event, like I think like the day before, right, the night before. So you're gonna have a hot crowd for that. So that's what they're kind of banking on. It'll look good on the network, but really for everybody else, like Raw every Monday night, it's, you know, and you could even hear it. It wasn't even like the crowd was really that behind Balor. Even when he came out for the first time, you know, tonight, it wasn't even that big of a reaction. Let's be perfectly fucking honest. Walt Culture will tell you it was probably one of the biggest reactions of all time. But let's be perfectly honest, it wasn't that big of a reaction. So anyway, guys, yeah, good episode of Raw. See you next time. Love my porch. Pose like Randy Orton on my porch. I hear voices.